Cassie. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today I am recording from outside the tennis courts in the neighborhood. I just went to the pool for an hour and sat listening to my book. And the book is called oh dear. Now I gotta look at it. Sorry. I hate when I do that. Bright I Burn. That's what it's called. And the book is for my Zeta Tau Alpha book club that I have now joined the alumni Zeta Always organization thingy mabobber. And so I'm in the book club now, and so I'm listening to Bright Eye Burn, and it's like, if you don't mind me saying, the main character's a whore. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. Um, yeah, it's and she's got a big fat ego, and but I'm not here to do a book review, and I've still got 2 hours left. So maybe the entire thing will turn around and she's gonna be humble and change in some way. We'll see. The whole book has been her and her beaux. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, while I was sitting enjoying my book, I had just I'm starting to sketch a new picture of my brother's little dog named B. And I don't know. It's looking, for those of you who look at the video, it's looking a little sketchy, and I don't mean sketchy in a good way. But we'll see. It's one of those tiny little mutts with like really wiry hair and stuff. So we'll see. I think it's going to take a few days for me to get this one. It's actually scary looking right now. So I just had gotten out my sketch, and Bailey called. So that was a nice surprise. Her and her boyfriend were preparing to go in for a wedding, and they were waiting for her boyfriend's dad to bring a tie. I guess he didn't like his tie or something like that. So that was a nice surprise. And she asked how she did for her first book club meeting, because that's my other new book club. Bailey decided to start a book club. So it's me and all of her friends. And tell me if that is not acceptance of your mother, if you allow her to join your book club. So it's super fun and I'm really excited. And she said, I'm so excited that you're a part of it. So that was just confirmation. And yeah, I needed to hear it. So that was a nice surprise. And then she went ahead into her meeting. So here I am. I was heading back to my house and I thought, this is a nice shady place for me to record my podcast. So here I am. I had a woman that I went to high school with. Um, and her and I sat next to each other in typing class back when typing class was a thing. I don't know if people take typing class anymore, and that is just bizarre to me that you would be able to function without typing class. But it seems like it's not a thing. I could be wrong. Anyway, me and my good friend, we became friends by sitting in typing class, and I'm sure she remembers it too. Anyway, she reached out to me. It was her birthday yesterday. So I just said happy birthday. And she reached out to me on Messenger and said that she had a friend, a close friend of hers, um, a lifetime friend who had a stroke. And she was asking for some resources. She had seen that I do a podcast on stroke recovery and sobriety and asked if I had some recommendations for talk therapy. And so I am gathering up my resources for her. But it's when that happens that I feel just so fulfilled and confirming that I'm doing the right thing, that coming here and talking about my experience is helping other people. And another thing that I heard in my signs book that I've been talking about for days now is she said this morning that everybody has a chance to save one person's life. I don't know. I guess I don't know if that's spirit spoke to her and said that. I have no idea how she gets her data, um, but she said that everybody in their life has the opportunity to save at least one person's life, and some people go on to save many others. And I thought, that's what I hope I'm doing. I hope that my pain is being leveraged to save other people's lives. That's what I do this for. That is exactly what I do this for, because I could have lost my life a couple times now. And I'm still here, and I want to make sure that I'm using that for good. And I'm determined to do that. And so this morning, my morning meeting was it was about how the founders of AA had a fierce determination. And what I thought of because of that is, what where does determination come from? You know, determination is not, it doesn't come from something that is depletable. And so initially, I thought determination comes from courage, determination comes from hope. And I'm like, no, that is not where determination comes from. Determination comes from something that is not depletable. And what I know that is not depletable in my life that I've experienced is faith. Faith does not deplete. As long as I seek, it is not depletable. And what that means is, as long as I do the work, it's not depletable. But determination, I can't do work to feed determination, like one to one. What I am filling in myself is faith. And that faith runs determination. Like faith is the gasoline and determination is the engine. And as long as I keep showing up to my meetings, as long as I keep spending some of my spoons every day to fill my cup, and if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, you can head to my website, to the blog, and or to my episode that talks about spoon and cup theory. But as long as I make sure that I'm using some of my spoons every day to fill my cup, and also make sure that um, I'm not using up more spoons than I have, you know? And that goes in everything. Like I can't use up more spoons than I have to fill up my cup. And that was something that I talked about just a couple weeks ago. Um, I think that faith falls into that bucket. Faith falls into my cup. It is what filled that that hole that was empty when I was drinking. So faith does not deplete when I seek it. So I feel that that is where determination comes from. And I also feel that something that is also not depletable is desperation. And that's something that somebody brought up this morning, this idea of desperation and how desperation is a gift. Um, desperation, sometimes I can feel something that feels a little bit like desperation when I'm bored. Okay, so hear me out. I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, do I ever feel, what does desperation feel like? And do I feel it these days in recovery? And I thought the only thing that really mimics desperation in my life is when I'm bored. And I get bored a lot. There are some weeks that I'm not bored at all, and then other weeks that I'm bored every day. Not all day, but every day I have this feeling of like there's something missing. Like I'm feeling it's frustration. It's it's a feeling of endless suffering, you know? It you can't it feels like it's going to last forever. That's what desperation feels like. And that's what I feel like when I get this feeling of boredom. It feels like desperation. It's a miniature version of desperation. It feels like confusion. It feels like hopelessness. It feels like fear. And and what I thought this morning was when I'm bored, I don't necessarily need something to do. I need to address something that's missing inside of me. Because if I'm feeling inspired and I'm feeling like my cup is full, then I don't feel bored. I can be sitting quietly in a room by myself and I'm not bored as long as my cup is full, as long as my faith meter is full, you know? Sorry, I feel like maybe I had a red ant on me or something, but something bit me. Um and so I feel like when we go back to the beginning, this idea of determination, um, without without spending that time every day to like put that gasoline in the generator, I've got nothing. I've got boredom. It's like, you know, coming back around full circle, boredom is the antonym of determination, right? I mean, it is in my life. Determination is what gets me making jewelry, like all of the stuff that I talked about yesterday, the hobbies and the stuff, the creativity, um, that being another frequency of my voice. Um, I I don't have that if I'm not fulfilling that emptiness inside of me. And how do I do that? I do that by stopping mid-walk when I'm going home to record my podcast because I don't want to miss a podcast, because I've got something to say, because I've got stuff to share about. And the reason why I like to do this every day, and I've talked about it before, but for anybody who's a newcomer here, is because recovery is every freaking day. Um, Stroke recovery is every day. And um, I'm reminded almost every day, ow, I just got a pain in my head. Um, Probably because I'm moving my eyes around too much, but I'm reminded every day, which is funny, I just got a pain in my head. I'm reminded every day that my challenges, my deficits, my disability is invisible. Um, and isn't that ironic or a sign that I got a pain in my head right when I was about to say that? That even though nobody can see it, and on some days, I even think that I'm crazy. And I'm not the only one. There's lots of people that have had a stroke or suffer with a vestibular disorder that feel crazy sometimes because the only way that people know about what's wrong with you is if you talk about it. And so I have to talk about it every day. I have to remind myself what my truth is, what my reality is, because if I don't, I get stuck inside that gap, that emptiness inside of me. I get stuck inside that depletion. I get stuck inside of that confusion and the hopelessness and the fear. Um, I become desperate. I become desperate again. I become bored. Like all of that stuff is is the enemy to me. It's my enemy. And I have to put forth the work every single day in order to fill up that tank um to become and maintain determination, to become determined and maintain determination. So that's why I'm here today. If my friend gave you my podcast information and you know who you are, I don't know who you are, I don't know your name, but you know who you are if you're here for the first time and a friend gave you this podcast information, like you're in the right place. Just show up here every day and listen. Because the point is we're not alone and we don't have to do any of this alone. And for those of you who have been coming for a while and know that you can always reach out to me personally via email or on my social media, and I'm happy to have a more detailed conversation with you. But otherwise, um, I'm happy you're here because I'm growing every time I see somebody clicked play and wanted to listen to something that I had to say. It helps me so much. You have no idea. It must be helping me, or I wouldn't have hundreds and hundreds of episodes. So thanks for showing up for me. Thanks for showing up for you. It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm going to finish walking home and get back to my pooches. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.